What's going on, y'all? Welcome back to another review for The Flash. Season 8, Episode 15, I believe. Yep. Episode 15 called Into the Steel Force. uh, this was I want to say it was a slow down episode, but it was like a well balanced. It didn't really, this episode deals with Iris time sickness, but it's just a few things I didn't like about it. But we're gonna get into it. Before I do that, let me set it up for you guys. The Flash gets an assist from XS. I can never say her name right. XS. CCPD enlists Chester for help when a mysterious device is found at a crime scene. So, this episode deal with some stuff, set up some stuff. We start off from basically Barry. This picks up maybe I guess like the next day from when the previous episode where Iris disappeared. This sets up. This picks up that morning. Yeah, that morning, Barry basically wakes up. No Iris at house. He sees that Iris basically left him a note saying that she would be working late at the at CC Citizen. So she went and he went and to go surprise her with breakfast. Found out that she's not there. That the last thing that was on her computer was what she was typing for Frost. So then he calls her phone, sees the phone is in her purse, and then he searches the city. They do a grid search of the city, and then they do a grid search of their planet, and basically confirm that Iris is nowhere to be found on the planet, which they know is impossible which means something really did happen to her. Dion basically shows up and tells Barry that he knows what happened to Iris. He tells Barry that Iris is in the Steel Force. I'm trying to figure out how to word this stuff without spoiling anything. So basically, as the title implies, into the Steel Force. Barry has to go to the Steel Force to save Iris, but Joe has some reservations because Joe, being the detective that he is, something about Dion's plan is not sticking right with him. You know, he imploring Barry to basically use better judgment and to really think about what he's trying to do because something like I said, something don't sit right with Joe. And Barry, he's just so not listening. Like basically, he's so trying to make up for the fact that he how that happened. There we go. He's so basically gun ho about saving Iris. I think they said it was like later on in the episode. He said that the only reason why he was like that because he felt like this was his fault for not pushing harder to help Iris with the time sickness. But yeah, he basically goes head first into the Steel Force. Things happen. XS gets pulled into the mix of it. They do like I like that they show 2044 or 45, whatever. I think that's the future that she's in. But they do go to the future to show what she was doing currently before she got pulled into the Steel Force herself. Some revelations are made with, they still like it would took a back burner if anything that if you're looking for like a particular storyline, they said what took a back burner in this episode was the Killer Frost revelation or Frost revelation with Caitlin. I think Caitlin and Mark only had like a couple of scenes, maybe like three. I want to say maybe three scenes, and maybe like at max three. I want to say in this whole entire episode. So that was like the little afterthought. The whole thing with Chester was just about him and his this was like another part of the evolution of him, like from previous episode when him and Allegra had that conversation about him putting his technology and his creations on the internet for people to recreate. You know, he had a little scared here, but if you see the episode, you understand what I mean. Some things happen, and then like that's I think like I said part of the episode, like I said, was split into between and with no Iris. That was I would get into the first thing. First thing I didn't like about the episode was that episode that was so gung ho and about Iris, the fact that we don't see Iris was kind of weird to me. So that threw me off to the point where I'm like, that was weird. Like this episode is structured around her, but she does not appear at all. Minor spoiler, I guess I gotta say, because she does not appear in this episode. But this episode is about her. Dang. You know, the one thing is another thing I want to say, but I will be spoiling the episode. But I'll just say this: the whole thing with Dion. If you've seen the episode, you understand what I mean. But the whole thing with Dion is another negative for me, because it was like, wait a minute, we went through all this stuff with him, and that's what you structured for him in this episode. That was kind of whack to me. So it was just like, yeah, like I wasn't feeling it at all. So yeah, you got Iris not being in the episode. The whole thing with Dion. Literally, there was literally one scene for that girl who could walk through walls, and the scene about her. Like we did get a revelation, which was a plus. The revelation about where her mother was, which if you know, you probably guessed that she was in the Still Force. We all knew she wasn't dead, but it was basically confirmed. You know, where we got the revelation about her. That was okay, but on the flip side, my third negative was on the flip side was the storyline for them two. Like, how long we don't have that many episodes left, and how long you was gonna drag this out with her potentially being this new member of Team Flash, but yet you got this whole thing drawn out with her and her mother, and it's like once they get to it about was the revelation about her mother, that's like the only scene. She does that. It never isn't. It's like they completely forget about her. Which brings me to my final negative, which was the fact that they just the way how the episode ends, the way how they resolution with the Still Force thing, and the way what I'm getting at is the resolution. Once you see the episode, you understand what I mean about how they solved the problem in the Still Force. But it's a negative to me because it makes the girl's mother an afterthought. It's like once you get to this point, it's like they told you forget about her, and that wouldn't seem that's uncharacteristic for the Flash. Because you showed it when he met her. You showed that side of him that I was suspecting, but then once you resolve the issue and you know everything with the Still Force, it's like he forgot about it. Like he wouldn't forget about the innocent person. But yeah, I mean, other than those, everything else was good. The story was for what it was okay. It wasn't what I thought it would be. It was actually kept on. It actually was a good story driven episode. Just a couple of things could have been better. No, obviously the CGI is going to be CW CGI, but it was good for what it was. I'm always glad to see Nora back. I know a lot of people give Nora a hard time saying that she wasn't really, a lot of people didn't like her, but I think she was okay. The only thing about Nora that I didn't like was the whole woke stuff. Like it was certain things about Nora that didn't need to be in there. She didn't need that part to be. She didn't need her character to be written like that just for her to be likable. It's like I'm all for inclusion, but was it really necessary? Like on Legacies, there's a character that was one that was never even hinted towards being that way, being a certain way, and then all of a sudden now this character is now this way. It's like it's unnecessary. But in all, I'm gonna let y'all go. What I would give this episode of The Flash Into the Steel Force would get for me a 6 out of 10 because it wasn't a bad episode. It wasn't a good episode. It wasn't a great episode. It was an okay episode. It was just things that could have been better. Things could have been written better. It was just some things that was just written like stupid, but it wasn't as stupid when we had everybody questioning Barry when he knew he was right type stuff. Now that episode was atrocious. That was a bad episode. But let me know in the comments down below what you thought of The Flash. If you enjoyed this review, then you hit that button right there for all of my reviews. And if you enjoyed the video so much you want to support the channel, all you gotta do is hit that like, subscribe, share, hit that notification button, do all those great things because you help me do this even better. And it helps me to know what to do better for this channel. And as always, hit any one of these videos for more of my amazing content. So amazing. But don't go anywhere because I got a reaction for you and some gameplay. So yeah, peace out.